Welcome to the Jillian Grace Show, the podcast that doesn't just inform, it transforms. I'm Jillian Grace, frequency architect, multi-dimensional strategist, and your guide through the unseen layers of reality. Each episode is a living transmission, crafted to rewrite your patterns, recalibrate your field, and activate the truth encoded in your DNA. We'll navigate the energetic architecture behind relationships, trauma, intuition, purpose, and power, and close with a guided activation to embed the shift into your system. This isn't self-help, it's subconscious reprogramming. This isn't coaching, it's timeline engineering. This isn't content, it's a frequency shift. And if you're done with surface level advice, if you're craving depth, data, and divine disruption, if you're ready to stop performing and start embodying, you're exactly where you need to be. My name is Jillian Grace, and I'll see you there. On this episode, we are going to talk about the energetics of beauty and how they're changing dramatically. And we're also going to look at the future of beauty because we are on a paradigm that we've never been before. We are literally at the brink of something that is very different from what other cultures have seen, where there's always been beauty standards, regardless of where you live on this planet, regardless of what generation you're in. There's been basic beauty standards that people try to live up to. But we're about to level the playing field, and we're seeing that happen very quickly and very clearly. And you're seeing this future of beauty shift. When we live in a world where everybody can be perfect, everybody can be a great weight, everybody can look like they have flawless skin, everybody can have perfect features. And we're at the brink of watching this happen right now with so many people that are using these cosmetic surgeries and are changing the way they look so dramatically that they all look the same and they all look what would be or what would have been in our past culture as perfect or beautiful. But now there's almost this tip of the iceberg that's happening where people are looking at that and they no longer are finding that to be beautiful. They're no longer saying, okay, to have the perfect nose, to have the best eyelashes, to have beautiful hair, to have flawless skin, to look ageless, to have a body that's perfectly in shape or a body that doesn't carry too much weight. That is no longer the commodity. We are entering a world where physical beauty is no longer aspirational. It's purchasable. With Botox and fillers and Ozempic and plastic surgery and veneers and hair extensions, laser resurfacing, everything's possible and it's all being normalized. So the old hierarchy is collapsing. What beauty used to be as a status marker because it was rare is now becoming the baseline. So I'm going to ask the question nobody's asking yet. If everyone can look perfect, what becomes valuable? What's beautiful? And that's one of the reasons that I started this podcast. It was to teach all of you about energy, because energy can't be faked. And the more and more we start to evolve as a culture, the more we're going to feel and the more intuitive we're going to become. And that's going to become natural to us. So the standard of beauty is going to be more what you feel like rather than what you look like. And while everyone may look perfect and everyone may have the same perfect features if they don't like what they originally were born with, the inside is going to be what people are seeking. And we're already seeing this happen. We're already seeing so many people that are at points in their life where they don't care about the physical stuff anymore. Like they're just done with it. They're done with the perfection. They're done with the too much makeup. They're done with the dyeing their hair. They're done with all of that being available to them and being pushed on them culturally. They're done with going down that road. And they're looking for new answers. And in those answers, we're seeing a lot less people using hair dye, a lot more people deciding that they want to be more natural with things, a lot less people using makeup. And then you, of course, have your subsidies of people that are really capitalizing off those things right now. And the people who are overusing them. So the people that you see that are caked in makeup and the people that you see that have tons of Botox and tons of lip fillers. And this is not to make someone feel bad about themselves. This is to talk about the frequency between two different individuals so that someone can understand clearer what you're looking at. And people who are engaging in all of those practices and buying into that culture, they often have a lot emotionally missing underneath that they're searching for. So they're trying to make up for it in the way that they look. And this happens a lot with Hollywood. We're seeing this a lot with the celebrity world. Now, here are people that didn't gain the opportunity to build any formidable skills outside of the one that gave them a lot of adoration, which was being a celebrity and being this personality. So they set their whole life up to be this fake frequency because it's what the world wanted to see. Those fake people want and love the fake look. That's so in the broad spectrum right now. And that is a showing of something missing in the inner world that they're working with. So when you feel like you have to change the way you look and become a completely different individual or have a completely different appearance as you grow older, then that's saying something about how you feel about yourself on the inside because you're chasing something that no longer exists or you're trying to create something that isn't there anymore. You're trying to keep it alive. And when that happens, while you may physically still look similar, the part of you that is inside that is trying to grow and gain strength so that you can evolve, that part is getting ignored and that part is dying out. And with that, your frequency gets lower and lower and lower. So, what happens when things like that occur? You start to struggle mentally and emotionally. You start to have issues connecting with other individuals. You start to have clear indications that you aren't being your true self. And when you aren't your true self, you start to feel empty. And I want to further move into that a little bit deeper to explain to everyone when you aren't your true self, you not only start to feel empty, you also start to try and chase something that you're not. You try to chase something that you see or that the culture is showing you and the narrative is pushing towards you to find fulfillment. And I will guarantee you, having worked with many people that have attempted this, that you are not going to find what you're looking for on the other end of that. Trying to hold on to what you were or trying to be something that you're not is not going to evolve in you becoming what you're truly here to be. You're just going to go deeper, deeper down that rabbit hole. And when you go deeper down that rabbit hole of being someone that you aren't, you become emptier and emptier. And when you become emptier and more empty, you decide you want to fill that with more artificial things. And that's where you see people drinking heavily. And that's where you see people experimenting with different types of drugs. And that's where you see a lot of that normalizing that altered state of mind culture coming from. It is coming from groups of individuals that don't stand in their true power and allow themselves to be authentic. And what happens when those layers get stripped away, and then what they do to try to artificially bring them back into their life. When we're looking at the physical appearance, the physical always reflects what's going on the inside. That's part of the way energy flows. And what you look like, interestingly enough, even if you don't fit the perfect standard of beauty, if your energy is right, everyone thinks you're gorgeous. Everyone thinks you're handsome. Everyone is attracted to you. You're magnetic. And you're magnetic for a reason. It's because people want to be in your presence so that they can find their authenticity and their energy uplifted. And you can help them or you can exchange with them a powerful pattern of them being able to evolve. So we are entering into deeper relationships. And even though that seems like you might see a lot of the opposite, that's because you're being fed a lot of the opposite in the narrative and on social media. But when you go out into the real world and you talk to people and you ask what they really want, you are not seeing this overwhelming amount of people that are very interested in individuals who get Botox and individuals who look perfect. You're actually seeing a lot of grounded people saying, that is not what I want. I want somebody who's real. I want somebody who's had experiences. I want someone who has emotion and experience and power to bring to the table. And that's the part of you that you need to develop in this next coming generation, this next coming future that we're looking at. It's the authentic you. And that authentic you is going to make it so you no longer have to compete. The more you build that, you're not going to be in competition with anyone else around you. And there's nothing in the world that can shift you out of that state of being your true nature. And that's what I want to really push all of you to take a deeper look at, especially with everything that we're seeing. And, if I see another one of these like filler or Botox places pop up in my area, it's almost comical at this point. But as you're seeing that being pushed at you, I want you to make a decision. This is a fork in the road. What side are you going to spend your frequency on? Building a fake frequency that not only can be copied, but will also be highly replaceable, or building an authentic frequency that will never be able to be matched and will lift the lives of everyone around you. We're at a crossroads of two different decisions being presented to us in one generation, in one time. And what you choose here will be very important moving into the future, because those who choose that fake side, where they choose that accumulation of things to make them feel better about themselves instead of actually becoming better about themselves, when you hear about the future of AI taking over jobs and AI being able to take over the world, those people are going to be highly replaceable. Why? Because there's no authenticity there. If you can't develop that inner authentic self, then you will find yourself very replaceable by the future of the unauthentic things that are going to be evolving quicker than we can gain a hold of. The future of technology is an incredible thing, but one thing it cannot do is be authentic. It has to feed off of human authenticity. So separating yourself out from that future of everything being plastic, the same, the way to do that is to make sure that you aren't plastic, the same, and that you can continue to evolve. So beauty used to be a currency. It used to be rooted in genetics. It used to be rooted in economical statuses. It used to be rooted in time, effort, discipline. But now you can buy a face. You can buy a body. You can buy the illusion of health. There's a joke and a phenomenon called the Instagram face because it's like the default. It's not the aspiration. It's the way that everyone looks. It's the baseline. The more we standardize beauty, the less beautiful it's going to become. So as everyone starts to look the same, and they've got the same eyebrows and the same lips and the same jawline and the same waistline, the uncanny valley of sameness starts to get so large. And what occurs is people become interchangeable. Attraction becomes algorithmic. Identity becomes aesthetic cosplay. So at what emotional cost? When you outsource your identity to procedures, you lose the inner signal that makes you magnetic. And that is the signal that I strive so much to teach all of you how to create, all of you how to build upon, all of you how to become. And I know that I'm going against the grain here because we are in a generation of fake, for sure. I mean, and a lot of us have been raised in the generation where beauty and what size you were, what weight you were was so important. And, for a man, how handsome you were, what you looked like, that was everything. So it's hard to break that idea. So I know I'm coming up against a lot of your learning, a lot of your natural patterns that you've been ingrained in. But I want so much for you to not lose that inner magnetic signal. And I want you to take this ride with me as we continue along on these episodes so that you can really step into what makes you magnetic and you can find that peace and you can build upon that, because that's the core of what the new luxury is going to be. And the new luxury item, everybody, is going to be natural authenticity. In a world of manufactured beauty, the rarest thing becomes the most valuable thing. And those rarest things are going to be natural features, unedited expressions, real skin texture, real bodies, real aging, real personalities, real emotions, real intuition. Authenticity is going to be the new flex. The human eye is wired for novelty. The most novel thing in a copy and paste world is someone who looks and acts like themselves. So, when external beauty becomes the marker of just the baseline, the new hierarchy forms around presence. It forms around energy. It forms around emotional intelligence. It forms around self possession. It forms around charisma, inner radiance, personal frequency. You cannot inject any of those things. You cannot surgically install self worth. You can't buy the glow that comes from alignment, that comes from vitality, that comes from inner power, that comes from being in line with the frequencies around you. This is the new beauty economy. And most people, they're not going to be ready for it. And that's why I want to teach you how to return back to that piece of you. For people who are starving for realness, and that's what's happening right now, the pendulum always swings. After a decade of hyper curated, hyper filled, hyper modified bodies, culture is going to crave soul, depth, mystery, originality, humanity. The future belongs to the people who can be seen without hiding behind enhancements. So, as you're working through and understanding this deeper in the world that you live in, what it means to you, I want you to ask yourself, what does my best self look like? What does my best self feel like? That's how you start to pull that authentic you in. You start to look at those pieces of you that you're ignoring. I'm talking about the you that is radiant, that is filled with health, that is filled with love, that is filled with connection. That's the you I want you to expand upon. How do you do this? How do we get this blueprint in order to start applying it now so that we're prepared for that pendulum swing, which is right around the corner? First, you've got to cultivate your inner signal. Your energy is your signature. This is the one thing no one can replicate. And what I mean by an inner signal is you've got to take some time to ask yourself, what makes you feel alive? And for everyone, that answer is different. And being able to sit there and journal and ask that question deeply and keep yourself as silent as possible as you let that thought and you let that idea set in and then respond to it is huge. Everybody has that thing. Everybody has that thing that they would do endlessly, day in and day out, if they didn't have to make a paycheck and if they didn't have to meet their bills. They have this part of them that wants to leave the earth in a way that they're remembered. I want you to ask yourself, who is the you you're proud of? What is that person doing? What is that soul achieving? What is that soul aspiring towards? If you were to look at yourself 10 years from now and say, oh my God, I'm so proud of that woman or that so proud of that man, what is that person doing that makes you feel alive? I want you to answer yourself that question in these coming weeks and to become very intimate with what the response is, because that's going to be the core of your inner signal, your inner signature, your inner authenticity. The next thing about really being able to expand that inner self and what you're here to do to create that authenticity, to become magnetic, is to build an emotional presence. People remember how you make them feel. They don't remember how symmetrical your face was. I guarantee you this. People remember how you passed on energy in whatever way you could emotionally that made them want more, either more of themselves or to be more in your presence. So I want you to become crystal clear on when you walk away from an interaction from anyone, how do you want that person to feel? What is your intention when you have that connection? And then I want you to start to build your interactions around that being your leading intention. That's your second thing that I want you to start practicing. The third thing is I want you to develop a point of view. In a world of templates, originality becomes magnetic. Take a peek at what you're seeing people do that are overriding that within them. Become aware of it. Stop celebrating, oh God, she looks so young, or oh, she must have had some work done. Oh, she has perfect hair. Oh my gosh, she doesn't look like she's aged a day. Start becoming very intrinsically aware of what you're saying and what you're pouring your tax into, what you're spending your energy on. And make sure that it's in the direction of the authentic self you want to create and not caught up in the old blueprint of what the cultural and the narrative's dynamic has been. So become crystal clear about those points in your point of view. What does being magnetic? What does being successful? What does being beautiful? What does being connected really mean to you? And start to celebrate those things. Stop going back to the old ideas of what the narrative is trying to push towards you to celebrate. I want you to start to focus in on being that internal celebration for yourself so you can start to rewire the way you've wired some of those intentions based on what you've been told. Next thing, honor your features, honor your natural self, be pro identity, enhance you, not the latest trend. So take a peek at what you're doing from a beauty standpoint and say, how much of this is building me towards a better health state? And how much of this am I maintaining for others around me? And one thing I always ask people, what would you be doing if you were the only person on earth? What would be what you would physically be doing each day to take care of yourself? What would you be paying attention to, quote unquote, beautify? What would you be doing if you were the only person on earth? Now, take whatever that answer is, and you can add little things in, like, when I'm around other people, if I have this, I feel like I'm more confident. Then you can kind of look at it from different angles. But I want you to start off at your baseline of getting the information of what you would be doing for you, and then you'll become very clear about what you're doing for others. And then you can decide accordingly of how important and how much of that is helping you build towards your authentic self and how much of that is minimizing your authentic self, and then make decisions from there. Next is strengthening your own viability. People don't talk about this enough, and it can be very difficult to understand because we have this whole culture where, you have a family and family is everything and they're first. And I say when you're in a union and in a relationship, your union is second, your health is first, because without your health, you are nothing to the people around you that you love. So I want you to take a peek at what you're doing for your own vitality. How are you sleeping? How are you working out? How are you taking care of yourself properly? What are you feeding yourself? Inner glow cannot be faked.
Before we continue, let's take a breath. You're here for a reason, not by accident, not by coincidence, but through divine orchestration, and these words were meant for you. This is your moment to rewrite humanity. Think of one soul in your life who needs this transmission and send them this podcast episode now. There are so many out there who are silently struggling. Our role is to reach them, to ignite something ancient and true. Whether it's someone you love, someone lost in the noise, or someone ready to remember who they are, this is your chance. Because vibrational awareness doesn't just shift minds, it realigns lifelines. It reawakens paths. It reconnects souls to their original blueprint. Be the bearer of that light. It isn't just generous, it's sacred work. Share this, speak it, seed it. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement, and you're a vital part of it. Let's rewrite humanity together, one frequency, one soul, one remembrance at a time. Now we continue.
And if you are going to become the best, most vital part of your energy, then you also have to make sure that you're caring for yourself properly. And that shifts the landscape for everyone that you love. Because if you're not healthy, then you're not going to be able to show up for them or show up for yourself. So, first and foremost, always has to be health. That is the most largest piece of your life for the duration, because without that, you have nothing. And without that, you actually hurt your family. So, you want to do everything you can to be the true self that you need to be, the you that you're proud of. Next is let your humanity show. Let the laugh lines be there. Let the real expressions be there. Let the stories be there. This becomes the new luxury, everybody. I don't think people understand that the population on Earth is aging, and there's a lot less new children being born or new souls coming down to this earth. So when we fast forward 20 years, we're going to have a huge percentage, a higher percentage than there's ever been of people over age 50 on this earth. So we're not going to be searching this whole youth-based concept for too much longer, because everything is shifting away from it, including the length of time that we're going to be on this planet and the amount of people that are going to be in each different generation category. Everything is shifting in front of us. So your humanity and who you are is the luxury. Starting to treat yourself like that, starting to understand that is huge. And this is the deeper truth. Beauty is shifting from external orientation to internal frequency, whether we like it or not. We like the way people make us feel more than we like how they look, unless we are at a point in our life where we're still chasing the old narrative and we're feeling empty if we're doing that. The next era of attraction is energetic, it's not aesthetic. People will stand out based on the ones who know who they are, who live in alignment, who radiate from the inside, and who carry a presence that can't be filtered and can't be faked. This is the return to the ultimate beauty standard. And I'm going to be your tour guide the entire way. As our closing, as I always do, I'm going to do a guided talk down for each one of you to help you build that authentic self from within. So I want to invite you to find a place that's quiet and peaceful and to revisit this talk down anytime you need to. I mean, this is not something that you do once. This is something that you're bringing alive within your energy. So you can come to it any moment that you feel like you're kind of losing your bearings, or you might be a little bit off balance, or you're feeling not so great about yourself. And you can set yourself in the direction you need to. These tiny little micro talk downs do a lot. Close your eyes, soften your gaze, and take a slow breath in. Let that breath fall out of your body without effort. Feel yourself arriving, not just as an image, not as a performance, but as a presence. Now imagine the world we're stepping away from, a world where beauty is manufactured, purchased, installed, a world where faces blur together and bodies become templates. Visible perfection is the baseline. See that world for a moment, glossy, polished, identical. And now place yourself in the center of it. Feel the contrast. Feel the truth. In a landscape of sameness, your natural signal becomes unmistakable. Your expressions, your lived in humanity, they become rare. Your energy becomes the one thing people feel before they ever see you. Take a moment to let yourself feel the way you want others to feel when they're around you. In a landscape of sameness, take a breath into that knowing. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your face return to its real shape, the one that exists on you. Bring your attention inside your body. Imagine a small light growing from the base of your spine, going all the way up to the top of your spine, and then to the ground of your head. Once that light reaches the crown, I want you to visualize it exploding like a firework that wraps around your entire body. With each one of the sparkles as they fall around your body, sealing in the authentic parts of you, the magnetic energy that you hold, the power that exists within. With each inhale, feel that power strengthen. With each exhale, Feel it expand. Feel it expand past your body into the world around you. This is the part of you no one can replicate. No filter can imitate it. No doctor can sculpt it. No trend can replace it. This is your originality, your presence, your inner signature. Let it rise. As it rises within you and moves through your body, repeat these words silently or out loud. I am not here to be a copy. I am here to be unmistakably myself. Take one more slow breath in. As you exhale, imagine that inner light radiating all around your skin. Subtle, powerful, and undeniable. This is the new beauty. This is the new currency. This is what makes you stand out in a world where everyone can buy the same face. This is your truth. When you're ready, bring your awareness back into the room. Bring that awareness back into your body, back into your presence, and carry this light of authenticity with you because it's the only thing the world will never be able to duplicate. And it's forever yours. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Jillian Grace Show. I want to really encourage all of you to please share this episode, especially if it speaks to you. It's so important to get this message out, especially to people out there who are lost right now and really looking for answers. I know that emptiness is strong for so many, and my goal is to try to touch everyone I can to help us all expand together as everything around us shifts. My name is Jillian Grace, and I'll chat with you next week. Thank you for listening to The Jillian Grace Show. You've just experienced a frequency shift. Don't let it fade. If this episode moved something in you, share it. Send it to someone who's ready to remember who they are. And if you're called to go deeper, subscribe, leave a review, and stay tuned because this is just the beginning. I'm Jillian Grace, and this is more than a show. It's a signal, it's a recalibration, and it's a return to your original blueprint. Until next time, stay aligned, stay awake, and keep architecting the reality that remembers you.